All right, everyone. So we're with Grace on her project for Heroes Fight Bias and After Effects. And here comes Winchin. Let me let her in. So we're in After Effects. Grace has just imported these, and you can see in the layer stuff. Can you go up and show them how that worked? So this is in a folder, and this is the comp. The folder is everything coming in from Photoshop, and that looks great. Hi, Wenjin. Welcome in.
Hello,
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about
Good.
you?
Good. Glad to hear you again. So when you opened that up in the comp, that comp picture that's up there, this is your comp, right?
Mhm.
And what I want to check for you right now is, can you go to composition and composition settings? And let's check this. Good. Oh, good. So you've made it 640 by 640 already. So it's already been made small. So you must have had to resize it, or did you save them out as in Photoshop as from 1920 to 640?
Yeah, I just changed the Photoshop resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep. So that's so you didn't have to do the resize. I think Anna did the resize using the null object method, right, Anna?
Yep.
Yep. So just two different ways of working, and that worked out fantastic. I see your duration is it's essentially 30. This is hour, this is minute, this is second, and this is frames.
Hmm.
But your frame rate, oh, this is important. You need to change that right now to 10 before you start animating, because a GIF equals 10 frames per second. Okay, and it's good that you didn't animate yet because you want to make sure it's set to that.
mhm.
If anybody did have it still set to that 29.97, which is what comes in first, then just make that change to the frame rate. Okay, so you can see this duration has changed. Change that to 30. Just go in there and highlight over top of the 31. That's 3 seconds that you have right there. So it looks like that. Good. All right, I'll clear this. And that is fantastic. And that is fantastic. That's what we need for our 30-second, 10 frames per second. So go ahead and click OK. Good job. Okay, you can now see that that's on 30. So everyone will want to check this ahead of time because it can cause problems later, which we can solve, but we'd rather just have it good off the bat. So do you know what to do next, Grace? What your next step is?
Begin animating.
Well, blocking first. That's what we call it. So you'll kind of come through and think about having sort of columns of keyframes. So the way that I've got those lines on there right now, it's that. Animating then brings like lots of details in between. So first we block, and then we do some timing, and then we do further animation. So in order to block, you have to think about your animation plan, which, as I remember, these fellas will start off screen, right? And slide over and go, will they just completely go off screen?
I wasn't gonna have them move too much because I was kind of worried that you wouldn't really get a chance to kind of see what's going on. So I was honestly just gonna have the movement be a little bit more subtle. So like, say here's the starting point, they would just move like that way.
Okay,
Just
so like from here to here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so let's actually just run that little animation right now to help everybody to see what that's like. So if you click on them with your mouse, which you have, and it looks like you're on them, is that right? Yep. So then
Yeah.
arrow this down, and then arrow down the transform tool, and then click the timer for position when you're at this part in the timeline. So this is the timeline indicator. So that's at 0 frames. When you did that, it made a little keyframe there, right?
Mm.
When you clicked the timer. So you can see that that's blue. And now you have a keyframe. So these are seconds essentially right now. This is 30 seconds. So you did a timing plan in your animation plan. So you might want to pull that up. But it's probably going to go to right about, well, it won't be 2 seconds. It would probably be like a 1 second. So maybe right about here. Click, you're going to bring your timeline indicator to that line that I drew. Yep. And take the boys with your mouse and move them to wherever you want to have them. Good. And this little piece right here, that's that line. Remember that we talked about with that gator animation that kind of has places that we can drag. So what you've just done is you've made a little animation, and in Animate, we would have had to tween it, but After Effects tweens it for us. So take your timeline indicator and scrub it. There you go. Right. Okay, that might actually be just 1 frame. Let's check it out. Take your mountains and move this down here. This is so you're going to take that little thing and scooch it over. My stuff might be in the way. Make it bigger, actually. There we go. Okay. All right. So what we see is that is just 1 frame. So it's snapping. I want you to take this and scooch it over to like right here. So you're moving the keyframe right now. And that's going to now create a tween. So now scrub your timeline, take that and drag it over. You can see now it's moving, right? So that's the difference. Cool. So that's blocking. That's what you're going to do, is you're going to keep on finding places like that to block. As I remember, that's the first thing to do. And then what's your next thing?
Then it would just transition to the next scene. Right.
So arrow this up, or you can hit the U button. Hit U again so that we can see what that looks like on your keyboard. See, what happened is you made an animation here, so it's opening up anything that has an animation. It will open up. Hit U again. Okay, so that just kind of hid that stuff. So the next thing, it's gonna transition to the next scene. So this is where, do you ever use this drawing again?
No.
I don't think so. So you're gonna do the method where you take these purple lines and you drag them over. So go way over to here, find the boys, like which one is it? Actually make this smaller again, because you're gonna do it with, yeah, so that we see all 30. Make it all the way small, good. And which one was the boys? We don't see them again, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All of them? Like from...
Yeah, everything in
all of
scene 1 isn't seen again.
Right, okay, so take all of scene 2, you're gonna shift click through all of that. And get these up here too, so you have to shift click through everything. So just start over again, yeah, good. Now go over here and drag that to like wherever we need to here.
Even scene 2?
Oh, was it just scene 1? Okay, I made a mistake. Scene 1. So Command Z or Control Z. Yeah, just do it with scene, I'm sorry. Scene 1, drag it to wherever you think it needs to end. So that's gonna just show those pictures wherever it's bright purple. That's the keyframes, the image showing itself on the timeline. So now scrub your timeline and you'll see it pops. Okay. So if you're never going to show that part of the animation again, that's the method to use. The other method to use, if you were going to use like that fella again with that same asset, then you would take it from 0% opacity to 0% opacity to 100% opacity to 100 to 0. It's that method, which turns things on and off, but then that purple line goes all the way across still, and then you can go from 0 to 100 to show them. So this is where they would show, and then they would be off. And then this is where they would show again. So all of you understand that? Cool. All right. So I think probably, Grace, you're going to be able to use this method that you just did with a lot of your pieces. And that's kind of how Anna did it. And most of you will likely be able to do that method. Cool. Okay. And then you'll get more into like rotating and stuff like that. But right now, let's just turn on and off your stuff. Like make these, like it's probably going to end up looking like this. Because that's the way your scenes are built.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do that first before you do any like little rotations. That will help you to know where the keyframes need to be. But you can always take those keyframes, click them, and move them. When you make them dark or blue or whatever they get selected, you can move them. It's easier to block first though. So if you have that first, then you can go into do the details later. It's kind of like writing an outline for a book. You write the outline first and then you fill in all the details. Do you need any more help, Grace, or?
No, I think I'm all set.
Okay. All right. It's looking great. Good job. Save the file. So, oh, and I also want to look at your file organization. So yeah, you're hitting save. Can you then close it? And I want to see your folder setup on your computer. So find the folder that you have. Heroes Fight Bias. Good. Is your After Effects folder perfect? So the way that Grace has this set up, this is the folder, and then the AE file is in it. And then you have your clip files, that all makes sense. But essentially the main thing that we need is that Photoshop file to be in there, which is what you have. It's probably this one, right?
Yep.
This file absolutely needs to be inside this folder. If it's not, then it gets broken. So you're good. And then if you had any like mustaches to add onto your characters or something, they went through puberty, that's a new PNG that you keep putting into this folder, and any other extra PNGs. If you add sound later in sound design or something, you'll add that sound file into this folder. You could actually remove the clip files. Any of these, like they're not required to be in here.
Okay.
But you might as well keep them in here.
Yeah, this is mainly for my own reference. It's easier to have them all in one place.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for showing us that.
Yeah.
Okay. So who